Yep, plenty of growth here. It's looking pretty good. Good looking little fella. He's a little anxious, don't know what I'm going to do. Hey, there's one story. It's not necessarily about the little red tractor, but it's hey, let's go look at a couple of my crops. Update you on progress of the tobacco and some of the corn, and maybe even look in my garden. Come on. This is the corn in front of my house. Let's walk out in there a little bit. I'm holding this at my eye level. You can see it's kind of above my head now. Yep, it doesn't take long for it to grow. It does grow. Yep. Woo! Yeah, even down in here, it's a whole lot taller. Yeah. Gonna get some height to it, all right. You betcha. We're down in it. Yep. Plenty of growth here. It's looking pretty good. That little bit of shower we had helped it a bunch. And the weeds, like I say, they're in the shade of the corn now, so I don't think they're going to take over. You can see we had some issues earlier with a couple of the plants, but they outgrew that. It kind of, I forget the name of that worm, but anyway, it doesn't look too bad in here. You would almost have a corn maze. Let's check something else. Check the tobacco. Cattle are taking notice. I don't know why. Looking at me up here like they'd never seen me before. Well, that one is. So we'd take a walk down here and look at some of my tobacco. It's behind where it ought to be, because I was so long getting it in the ground. Couldn't get the piece of ground in shape because it rained every other day. A terrible storm would come through and wash the soil out of it. But anyhow, this is my little plot. It's growing some. Hey, Snoopy's here. Hi, Snoops. How are you? Close up of Snoopy's nose. There you go. And might be all flowered by the time the fair comes. I don't know. This one here, the dogs must have stepped on it and blew it or something. But yeah, it's hard to believe it took me that long to get this in shape to get the tobacco planted. I did have other things to do, real farming, since this is just a hobby thing. I'm looking at my last bit of corn, sugar corn that I put in the ground. It's just coming up. Snoopy's investigating too. Hey dogs, get out of there. Don't step on my corn. Go on. You got some corn coming up there. This little bit of moisture is helping it out. And another row of beans up here coming along. This has been just a year where it's a real challenge to have any kind of garden at all, a successful garden. But it doesn't look too bad. That corn there is not so bad coming on. But you can see how the weeds took over. You just couldn't get out there and hoe or pull weeds. It's too muddy. It's terrible. But this isn't so bad. I started hoeing some. Got this end of the row. Still got to get the other end. I got some more in the other garden. My big garden. This is a small garden. I guess I might have been able to have a decent garden if I just had one small garden. Maybe I could have kept up with it, but I don't know. Probably not. The way that weather was. Out here in the barn watering and giving my cattle a little bit of sugar corn treat. We picked a bunch and cut it off the cob and froze it, and this is just a little bit of, but I didn't put in the other trough. They're all looking at me like, I want mine cooked with butter and some salt on it. I don't know, I guess they'll eat it. There's the little calf over here. Yep, good looking little fella. He's a little anxious, don't know what I'm going to do. Hey. What are you doing, Russell? You make that calf a little bit nervous. Yeah. Snoopy, you gonna say hi to the calf? Snoopy. I forgot there was one story. It's not necessarily about the little red tractor, but it plays a heavy part in the story. I'll have to tell you, it's mostly a story about my dad. I gotta get out the wind because it's playing havoc with the microphone on here, but I'll tell you a little bit of a story about this tractor. It's my dad driving it. It's interesting. Dad used to drive the little red tractor around, check on the crops and stuff, first thing in the morning before anybody else got rolling, and he would maybe work the garden up and stuff. But this morning, before I had even got out of bed, the morning I'm talking about, I had heard the little red tractor start up and drive away, and then I got up and came down. We had breakfast and I fed the cows, and it was going to be a busy day because we had got an old junk combine that had a good set of 24.5 32 tires on it, Firestone 151. We were going to dismount. I had a friend of mine coming over. He's a tire man. He was going to help me knock them off the rim. So did all the chores this morning, and we were back there working back behind the barns over here, working on knocking them tires off, and we got the tires knocked off and everything, and I didn't see Dad anywhere. Didn't know where he was. Kept kind of wondering where he was at, and the wind was kind of blowing in that direction, kind of a southeasterly direction, just a small breeze. Anyway, we had some friends that we knew from church that were coming over, their family. We were friends with their family. They had kids about our age, and they liked to do bird watching. Their last name was Crow, and they were into bird watching, and their name was Crow. So anyway, they came, and I kept wondering where Dad was. I figured I didn't see his pickup truck down here, so he must have a meeting. I just figured he was at a meeting. And the Crows were going to stay have a noon meal with us. They came over. They were just going to walk around a little bit and do some bird watching, like I say. And anyhow, the kids were going to walk with them. I was up around the house for some reason or other, and the kids were walking around with them and looking at birds and whatnot. And when I had heard Dad leave in the morning, I mean, it was 6 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And this was around 11. And like I say, he must have walked down that morning or something, because I didn't see the pickup truck anywhere. But I don't know what all we were doing, but the kids were walking around with the crows, And my youngest son, Matthew, he looked around the edge of one of the fields up there along the fence row, and he saw two rear tractor tires sitting up there like that. And he said, what in the world? I mean, he was like 6. Saw two tractor tires sitting up there, and he was curious, as he had never seen two tractor tires sitting up there like that before, there in that part of the field. So he walked over there, and he got up there, and there was the little red tractor upside down on the bank next to the fence, leaning up against a fence post. And there was my dad, his grandpa, we called him Grandpa, 80, between 82 and 85 years old, somewhere around there, underneath that tractor, just pinned. He had one arm was pinned. His left arm was pinned between the tractor and that big, it was a big corner fence post, kind of. Evidently, he had been going around the field, and the upper tire, the upper wheel had gone over. The grass was really tall that time of year, and he didn't realize that he was right next to a stump, and the rear tire hit that stump and turned it right over on him. He didn't have time to react or anything. He was pinned there. He had been pinned there all morning, yelling for help. He had even gave his hat to one of the dogs to bring back up there, but they didn't seem to be too cooperative about that. And the thing that was so upsetting to him, but when we were changing those tires, he could hear our conversation just as plain as day, us talking and working on changing them tires, and he was yelling for help, and we never heard a sound, not a whisper, because the wind was carrying it that way toward him. It just carried the sound the wrong direction. And he told Matthew, "Run and get Daddy. Tell him to bring the big tractor and a long chain and a glass of iced tea." Well, Matthew, he didn't even tell the rest of them. He just immediately ran towards the house, came up the house and got me and said, "Daddy, Grandpa says to get the big tractor and a long chain and a glass of iced tea and bring it up back here." So I got the big tractor and a long chain and a glass of iced tea. Matthew was telling me what was going on a little bit, and we drove on back there. Everybody else was there then. They were trying to help him be as comfortable as he could be. And but this time he couldn't feel his arm at all. His left arm was completely numb. It cut off the blood supply for that long. And we hooked the chain to part of the tractor, pulled it off him, got it sitting upright, pulled him out from under it. Mr. Crow did, and he was a police officer, and he was on SWAT team. He had an interesting run-in with Charlie Calhoun. One time his SWAT team did. I'll tell you about that sometime. But they got Dad out of there, and he walked on up, and we had a little golf cart at that time. And he got on there, and he was drinking his iced tea. We drove on up in the yard, and we were debating whether we should call an ambulance or anything, get him, because we didn't know if there was anything broke or busted up or nothing. So we called 911 and said, "Whatever you do, don't move him." I said, "Too late. He's sitting up in the yard drinking iced tea, hoping that some feeling comes back in his arms." And well, shoot, you don't ever tell when you call 911 that you got an 85-year-old guy that had a tractor sitting on top of him for 5 hours, because they go a little overboard. They send a medevac chopper. I mean, Dad could have drove himself, which I guess we should have just took him to his regular doctor, but I don't know. Sometimes people overreact. And the real life Charlie Calhoun, was his real last name ain't Charlie Calhoun, he happened to be coming by, and he saw the medevac helicopter out there in front of the house in the hayfield. He pulled in there and was sitting at the end of the driveway crying, because he was just afraid of what it meant. So anyhow, the medevac takes him on over to one of them hospitals over there towards Washington, and he didn't break anything, didn't have nothing wrong with him. He had a little gash on his arm, and the feeling started coming back into his arm, and he was at that time wishing it wouldn't come back because it was hurting terrible. But it just was bruised from being squeezed so hard for that amount of time, and didn't have a darn thing wrong with him. So we went over there to visit him, to see him, make sure everything was all right. And I ain't got much faith in that hospital. I don't know if it was George Washington Memorial Hospital or something over there near Washington. I don't know. They terrible care. They had never even washed the grease off his arm or nothing. I don't know if they even washed the dried blood off his arm and put anything on it. I really don't. He still had grease on his head from the tractor. You know, grease was dripping on him, and it was just ridiculous. I don't know that they did any darn thing. We brought him on home. He was fine. And you can see it's missing part of the original covering of the steering wheel, especially this part here. You can see this is just some rubber fuel line hose split and put over there and then wrapped with electrical tape, because that had gotten bent and broken a lot of it off, and I guess this part here is broken off since then. But this had gotten bent over somewhat, and exhaust pipe, but all in all, very little was bent. Very little was hurt when it flipped over. Didn't take much. Just bend this back, put this on, bend this piece back up, and he was ready to go. It was ready to roll, and Dad got back up on it. I don't know if it must have been 2 days after. He was back up on it in the garden, cultivating 2 days later. It's like nothing happened. That's just the way he was. I mean, he was in his 80s. 80, 82, 83, something like that. Yep. Maybe even a little older, I can't remember. Between 82 and 85, somewhere around there. Tough man. Tough man. I've been back here getting some stuff ready to sell. Did have a nice fella coming by this GMC. We got to get it out of there and get it on his trailer for him. And had a fella had an interest in this loader down here. He could put it on a 420 John Deere or MT or something. And got this John Deere vegetable B back here. Fellow was expressing some interest in. He wanted to get some parts off of it and the sheet metal, but it had a couple little rust issues on this side. The other side is really in good shape, but I don't know if it's good enough for him to use or not. But hate to get rid of this stuff, but if I'm going to move, I can't take it all with me. Some of the things I am going to take with me, a lot of it I'm going to take with me. Like this 3010 industrial here. We got the rest of it. It's just under the shed up there. Grill and sheet metal and radiator and everything. But I've got to get that going. There's a couple other things I want to get going and take with us, but this forklift would really come in handy. We picked that up a couple years ago. Haven't had a chance to do anything with it, but that time's a coming. Got a 3010 gas back there with a transmission issue, but that's no biggie. I look forward to getting into that and maybe putting a diesel engine in there. Yep. I'm not even going to tell you what that is. That's something interesting. Some people might want it. But maybe someday I'll tell you about it. But not Not today. Anyway. And we got some tractors that belongs to some other people that we picked them up and brought them here and fixed them several years ago, this one, and we really would like to take it back. If you're watching, Charlie, you can let us know, contact us, let us know where we can set the thing off at your place. I appreciate it. Probably needs more work on it now from sitting without being used. But anyway, I'm going to go and get my dinner. We catch up with you later.